There is no feeling of powerlessness, quite like standing over a bassinet at 3 in the morning while your newborn screams at the pitch that seems designed to shatter glass. As men, we are wired to fix things. We want to identify the problem, apply the solution, and restore peace. But in those early weeks of fatherhood, most of us feel like we're just playing a high-stakes guessing game with a broken controller. Is he hungry? Is she tired? Is it gas? We try to shush, we try to swaddle, and we try to bounce. And when none of it works, we often do the one thing that hurts our pride the most. We hand the baby back to mom and admit defeat. We feel like outsiders in our own nursery because we don't speak the language. But what if I told you that it's not actually a language at all? What if those cries aren't just noise, but are actually physical reflexes that produce a specific, predictable sound before the crying even starts? Today's episode is a deep dive into a book that I believe should be issued to every man the moment he finds out that he's going to be a dad. It's called Calming the Crying by Priscilla Dunstan. Priscilla didn't just study babies, she decoded them. She discovered that every infant on the planet, regardless of culture or language, uses 5 universal sounds that are based on their body's natural reflexes. In this hour, I'm going to give you the Sentinel's cheat sheet to those 5 sounds. We're going to move you from guessing to knowing so that the next time that the alarm goes off at 3 a.m., you aren't just a bystander. You're the man with the intel to fix it. I will return with the cheat sheets in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. This program is made possible by financial support from Smile Online Course and Books. Smile Online offers online courses for teens and young adults designed to help them master social and career skills. Subject matter includes customer service skills, job interviewing, electronic etiquette, and managing stress. More information is available at thefatherhoodchallenge.com. That's thefatherhoodchallenge.com.
Welcome to the Fatherhood Challenge, a movement to awaken and inspire fathers everywhere to take great pride in their role and to challenge society to understand how important fathers are to the stability and culture of their family's environment. Now, here's your host, Jonathan Guerrero.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode called The Infant Codebreaker. My co-host Isaac is taking the day off today, so you're just going to get me today, so I hope that's okay. But if you'll stick around, I promise I will do my very best to make it worth your while, especially if you're a new parent. Okay, my favorite part. What's blue and not very heavy? Light blue. Okay, one more. I don't get why bakers aren't wealthier. Do you understand it? I don't get it. They should be much wealthier. I mean, they make so much dough. Okay, that's it for now. Today, we're talking about a mission every father has faced, but very few are equipped to win. I want you to picture the scene. It's 3:14 in the morning. You've been awake for 45 minutes. You're standing in a dark nursery, swaying back and forth with a 6-week-old infant who's screaming at the volume that feels physically painful. You've changed the diaper. You've tried the bottle. You've done the football hold. Nothing is working. As a man, your protector instinct is redlining, but your problem solver brain is hitting a dead end. You feel like a failure in your own home because you can't decode the one person who needs you the most. You eventually hand the baby back to your exhausted wife and say, I don't know what he wants. That moment, that's the powerless gap. And today, we're closing it. We're doing a deep dive into Priscilla Dunstan's book, Calm the Crying. We're going to talk about how a woman with a photographic memory for sound discovered that babies aren't just making noise. They are broadcasting a specific tactical code. By the end of this hour, you aren't going to be guessing why your baby's crying. You're going to be decoding it like a pro. Priscilla Dunstan's story is the ultimate example of a superpower being put to practical use. She didn't start as a child development researcher or a pediatrician. She started as an opera singer with a rare neurological gift. Here's the breakdown of how a mezzo-soprano became the world's leading baby decoder. Priscilla possesses what is known as a photographic memory for sound. She can hear a complex piece of music once and replay it perfectly in her head, or identify a specific car engine just by the frequency of its hum. Before motherhood, this gift made her a prodigy. She was playing the piano by the age of 4 and eventually became a professional opera singer. She was trained to hear the tiniest shift in tone, pitch, and phonetic placement. In 1998, Priscilla had her son, Tom. Like any new parent, she found herself at the mercy of the infant scream. However, while most parents hear a wall of noise, Priscilla's brain began to automatically categorize the sounds. She noticed that Tom didn't just cry. He made a specific "nah" sound right before he started a hunger cry. She tested her theory. She heard "nah." She fed him. He stopped immediately. She heard "oh." She put him down. He fell right to sleep. She says, I realized I wasn't listening to a cry. I was listening to a physical reflex that had a sound attached to it. It was like he was handing me a blueprint that I was the only one who could hear and link. That was from Priscilla Dunstan. Priscilla didn't just assume her son was one off. She spent the next 8 years observing thousands of babies across different cultures, including indigenous tribes in Australia and infants in the US and Europe. She discovered that regardless of the parent's native language, the infant reflexes remained identical. Her big break came when she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2006. She demonstrated the sounds with live babies on stage. I remember seeing that. And here's the cool part. The sounds were identified correctly with their needs in seconds. The segment became one of the most watched in the show's history because it offered a logical, data-driven solution to a problem as old as humanity. Dads often appreciate Priscilla's story because it isn't based on feminine intuition or magic. It's based on pattern recognition and acoustics. She treated the nursery like a sound lab, and that systematic approach is exactly what makes Calm the Crying method so effective for men who want a very clear if-then protocol. Before we get into the sounds, let's talk about the why. I remember when both of my boys were infants. I do recall every distinct cry, or at least that's what they sounded like to me. I didn't have a clue what any of them meant. I would get very good at soothing them and they would get very quiet and they would even go to sleep. This was often when I would take advantage of that time and go down for a nap myself. Those were the good moments that I remember. But boy, when they started to cry, I couldn't figure out how to soothe them. It felt awful. It was a nightmare. What I hate the most was when I was alone with them and I couldn't figure out what to do after trying everything that I knew. They would just cry and cry until I finally heard what sounded like rage crying. There was nothing I could do. I felt completely as helpless as my boys. I couldn't wait till my wife got back so she could either take a turn with them or tell me what I was missing so I could fix it. I felt like a complete failure. I dreaded every time I was alone with them and they started fussing. I hated that stage of fatherhood. Even to this day, when I look back, I feel like I was robbed of what could have been many wonderful moments, feeling proud of my role, feeling like I actually contributed, like I knew what I was doing. That ship might have sailed for me. If you're a new parent listening to this, it's right on time for you. Priscilla Dunstan discovered something profound. Infants have reflexes. Just like you. You blink when something flies at your eye, or your leg kicks when the doctor hits your knee. Babies have physical reflexes for hunger, sleep, and even for gas. When those reflexes happen, they push air through the baby's vocal cords in a very specific way. This happens before the baby is actually crying. It's a pre-vocalized signal. Here's the kicker for dads. This is universal. What I mean by that is it doesn't matter if your baby is in New York, Tokyo or Timbuktu somewhere. Every human infant has the same hardware. They are all using the same operating system. The book, Calm the Crying, is essentially the user manual for that OS. It moves us away from intuition, which we are told moms just have, and it moves us into data. And us dads, we thrive on data. All right, so let's get tactical. There are 5 primary sounds you need to memorize, and if you get these right, you become the hero of the household. The n, focus on the n. It's the rhythmic n, n, n. The baby's tongue is hitting the roof of their mouth, like a sucking reflex. How do you fix this? Feed them. If you hear the n, don't waste time checking for a wet diaper. Next, the oval-shaped mouth. Oh, oh. It sounds like like the beginning of a yawn. It's like a yawning reflex, actually. So what's the tactical fix? Stop all stimulation. Turn the lights out, or at least turn the lights down. Swaddle on and turn on the white noise. Next, there's a short sound. It's like eh, eh, eh. A short staccato, and it's repetitive. Eh, eh, eh. The mechanic. The chest muscles tighten to push an air bubble up. What's the tactical fix for that? Get them over your shoulder. The air is trapped, and it's trapped high, and that's what you're clearing. Next, there's a grating, urgent. It sounds like they're straining. What's happening? The lower abdomen is tightening. So what's the tactical fix for this? Bicycle legs or a tummy massage? This is a bottom-up gas. Next, there's a breathy sound. It's like an H, and it's repetitive. What's happening? It's a skin reflex. They are sweaty, cold, or itchy. How do you fix this? Perform a Sentinel sweep. Check the diaper, the temperature, and the clothing. So, if you want to see results today, here are 3 Sentinel drills that you can try the moment you get home. There's the 10-second observation rule. When the baby starts to fuss, don't rush in and scoop them up immediately. Stand by the crib for 10 seconds. Close your eyes and only listen. Is it an N? Is it an H? Identify the data point before you take action. 2, there's the phone recorder drill. The next time the baby's fussy, record 30 seconds of it on your phone. Play it back later when you're calm. It's much easier to hear the eh versus the nyeh when your own stress hormones aren't spiking in real time. Number 3, the pre-cry window. The Dunstan method works best before the baby starts hysterically crying. Once they're at level 10, screaming, they're just pushing air. Your goal is to catch the signal in the first 60 seconds of fussing. Why does this matter for your marriage? When you know the code, you stop being the assistant parent. You aren't asking mom for permission or instructions. You're stepping in with competence. Imagine being able to say to your wife, honey, he's not hungry. He just has an air bubble in his chest. I got this. Go back to sleep. That's leadership. That is protection. You are protecting her rest and your child's comfort because you took the time to learn the language. The book Calm the Crying goes deeper. It shows you how to settle them once you've identified the sound. It shows you how to handle colic and how these sounds evolved as they get older. Listen, Fatherhood is a high-stakes mission. You wouldn't go into a storm without a map, and you shouldn't go into the newborn phase without the Dunstan baby language in your toolkit. Priscilla Dunstan's book, Calm the Crying, isn't just a parenting book. It's a tactical manual for the durable dad. It gives you the confidence to lead when the house is in chaos. Here's some remarks from dads who've cracked the code. There's the logic-driven dad. This testimonial is by Mark S., who's a father of one. I'm a software engineer. I like data. Before I read the Dunstan book, my daughter's crying felt like a random error code that I couldn't debug. Once I realized that "neh" was a physical reflex from the sucking instinct, it clicked. It wasn't a mystery anymore. It was just a signal. I stopped guessing and I started responding. There's another one from Jason T., who's a father of two. My wife was at her breaking point with our 6-week-old. I took the night shift. I heard that staccato, the sound, and instead of trying to feed him, I just sat him up and I burped him. He let out a massive air bubble and went right back to sleep. My wife woke up and asked what I did. I told her I just listened to the intel. This book is a lifesaver. Next, there's a testimonial from David R., who's a father of one. I thought the idea of baby language sounded a bit out there, but when I practiced mimicking the sounds and then actually heard my son use the "oh" sound right before a yawn, I was floored. It gave me a 5-minute head start to get him swaddled before he hit the meltdown stage. It's the most tactical parenting tool that I own. Brian H., a father of 3, talks about his marriage. The biggest change wasn't just with the baby. It was with my marriage. I stopped asking my wife, what does she want? And I started saying, she sounds like she has a stomach ache. I'm going to do some bicycle legs. Giving my wife that mental break because I actually knew what I was doing was huge for our relationship. Now we have a rookie veteran, Chris L., who's a father of 2. I wish I had this for my first kid. Back then, every cry meant a diaper change or a bottle. With my second, I can hear the sound and I realize she's just uncomfortable or hot. I adjusted her onesie and then she stopped immediately. It saves so much time and unnecessary stress. I have another one from Michael W., who's a father of 1. There's a specific kind of man panic that sets in when you can't stop the crying. This method took that away. I felt like I finally had the manual that should have come with the kid. Knowing the difference between the upper gas and lower gas made me feel like I was actually in the game, not just on the sidelines. I have one from a science-oriented dad, Anthony P., who's a father of 2. What I love about Dunstan's work is that it's based on reflexes. It's biology, not baby whispering. Hearing the "n" sound and knowing it's literally caused by the tongue hitting the roof of the mouth makes so much sense to a guy's brain. It turned a stressful situation into a manageable task. The last one I'm sharing is from Kevin D., who's a father of 1. My son is now 6 months old, and we still use these principles. While the sounds evolve as they get older, that initial foundation of listening for the reflex changed how I parent. I'm more attuned, more patient, and way, way more effective. If you're a dad-to-be, don't wait. Get the book now. The scientific community and parenting experts have scrutinized Priscilla Dunstan's work through the lenses of biology, linguistics, and psychology. While many emphasize that these sounds are pre-cries or reflexive sounds made before the baby enters full-blown hysterical cry, the consensus among the practitioners is that her method provides a vital bridge for parental intuition. Here's what the experts are saying about the Dunstan baby language and calm the crying. Here's a pediatrician's perspective. What makes the Dunstan method scientifically compelling is its foundation in infant reflexes. By identifying that a sound like "neh" is a byproduct of a physical reflex, a sucking reflex, we move parenting from guesswork to biological observation. It allows parents to respond to a physical need rather than emotional outburst. That's from Dr. Arlene Richardson, a pediatrician. We have one from a developmental psychologist on secure attachment. The most critical factor in a child's early development is responsive parenting. When a father can accurately decode a child's distress and meet that specific need quickly, it builds secure attachment far faster. This method reduces the toxic stress in the home for both the parent and the infant. That's from Dr. Julian Vance, child psychologist. The speech-language pathologist on phonetic foundations. Long before a baby speaks their first word, they are practicing the phonetic shapes of the human language. Dunstan's work highlights how auditory discrimination, the parent's ability to hear the difference between an N and an H, can fundamentally change the communication dynamic in the nursery. That's from Sarah Jenkins. We have another one from a lactation consultant, the early feeding cues. We always teach early hunger cues like rooting or sucking on hands, but the "n" sound is an audible early cue. For dads who might not always spot the subtle physical movements, having a clear auditory signal for hunger is a game changer for supporting a breastfeeding mother. That's from Maria Rodriguez. Then there's one from a sleep consultant. The greatest enemy of infant sleep is an overtired state. Experts agree that catching the sleepy sound allows parents to put the baby down before the cortisol spike that makes sleep impossible. It's the difference between a 10-minute settle and a 2-hour battle. That's from Linda Chen, certified sleep consultant. I have another one from the family therapist on empowering the father. In many households, the maternal instinct myth can leave fathers feeling secondary. Experts in family dynamics value this method because it provides a tangible skill for dads. When a man feels competent in his ability to soothe his child, the rates of postpartum depression in both parents drop significantly. That's from Jameson Holt, LMFT. I have one from a parenting researcher. Frustration is the leading cause of infant harm. By providing parents with a codebreaker manual like calming the crying, we are giving them a de-escalation tool. When you understand the why behind the cry, the frustration of the unknown evaporates and is replaced by a tactical mission. That's from Dr. Robert Cade, family safety researcher. And the cross-cultural anthropologists. Humanity shares a common biological blueprint. The most fascinating aspect of Dunstan's work is universality. Whether in a rural village or a high-rise city, the infant's for gas remains consistent because the human esophagus and diaphragm functions are the same everywhere. It is truly the first global language. That's from Dr. Elena Moretti, linguistic anthropologist. So here's why experts are backing this up. It is proactive, not reactive. It focuses on the pre-cry signals. It's evidence-based. It relies on observable physical reflexes. It's equitable. It gives both parents the same user manual, removing the burden of being the sole expert from the mother. So go get the book, Memorize the 5 sounds. Become the infant code breaker that your family needs. In fact, I'm going to make it super easy for you to get the book. If you go to thefatherhoodchallenge.com, that's thefatherhoodchallenge.com, or if you look for the Fatherhood Challenge on any major podcast app like Apple or Spotify, look for the episode called The Infant Codebreaker. The Infant Codebreaker, that's the title. Look right below the episode description. I will have the link posted right below where you can find it and you can purchase this book for yourself and find many other resources for new dads. Remember, crying isn't a mystery, it's a message. It's time you learned it and how to read it. I'm Jonathan Guerrero. Keep your eyes open, your ears tuned, and your postman. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Fatherhood Challenge. If you would like to contact us, listen to other episodes, find any resource mentioned in this program, or find out more information about the Fatherhood Challenge, please visit thefatherhoodchallenge.com. That's thefatherhoodchallenge.com.